Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all having an amazing day so far. I am so excited for this weekly vlog. As I'm sure you guys are aware, I'm currently back home in Australia for summer break from college. I have 3 months off over summer and I've come home to rest, recharge and get ready for my last 2 years of college. And I am just so happy to be home and to be with my family. So I'm just going to do a weekly vlog this week, a week in my life at home, and there's quite a few fun things going on this week, so I thought it would be a good one to film. But we're going to start the video with a bit of a life update because I actually haven't filmed a video in a while because I had quite a few videos from like the last few weeks of college, from finals week, moving out, packing, flying home. I haven't really needed to vlog while I've been home so far, so I've been home for a little bit over a month, kind of like 5 weeks. And I vlogged the Queensland trip, which was my previous vlog, so that was really fun. But apart from that, I've just been in Melbourne spending time with my family. If you've been following my channel for a while, you'll probably know my slightly weird family situation. So my parents are separated, my mum lives in Perth and my dad lives in Melbourne. And if you're not familiar with the geography of Australia, it's like a 4-hour flight between the two. And I have 2 younger sisters. One is living in Melbourne, she's currently in year 11. And the other was living in Perth, but she just graduated last year and now she's starting university this year. But she's currently, most of the time she's in Melbourne, but she has to go back to Perth a couple of times for a couple of things. And while my mum spends most of her time in Perth, because Poppy, my younger sister, is going through year 11 and 12 right now and she needs a little bit of extra support with that process, my mum has been spending some time in Melbourne as well to try and like help my dad, help her get through year 11, 12. It's kind of like any family where the parents are separated, but it just makes it a lot more confusing because Perth and Melbourne are so far apart. It's not like both my parents live in Melbourne and you're just kind of going between their houses. It's they live on opposite sides of the country. So I'm not going to bore you with the details of who's going where. I'm just going to focus on me. But just know that when I'm going from Melbourne to Perth or from Perth to Melbourne, it's not like I'm just going there for a holiday. I'm going there because that's where my parents live. So with that being said, I flew back from the US into Melbourne and I've been spending the last 5 or 6 weeks in Melbourne, and I'm now going to Perth later this week. We'll be flying to Perth on Saturday, which is very exciting because I grew up in Perth, so all of my friends are there. So that's pretty much my life update. Life has been going good. I'm feeling really happy and I'm feeling a lot more like myself. I feel like at college I'm not really quite myself and I'm trying to figure out why that is and what I can do about it. But as soon as I come home, I just feel just so much more like myself and so much happier, and I don't know. We will see. We'll see how things go when I get back to college, but it has been a very much needed period of time for me just to be here at home. To finish off this life update, I thought I would just give you a little list of things that I've been getting into recently, or things that have happened recently. Okay, so the first thing I've been getting into recently is coffee. Now, I have never been a coffee drinker. I have never had a cup of coffee in my life before a couple of weeks ago. I've always just kind of drunk water, which is quite boring of me, but I don't like coffee, I don't like tea, I don't like hot chocolate, I don't drink alcohol, I don't like soft drinks, I don't like juice. So I always just kind of keeping hydrated on the H2O, drinking water and never really drinking anything else. But when I got back to Australia like 5 weeks ago, Noelle made it her mission to get me to become a coffee drinker. We went out for a meal one time and she ordered an iced latte, and so I also ordered an iced latte to try to start my journey to becoming a coffee drinker. And I tried it and it was disgusting and I was like, okay, nope, not happening. And Noelle was like, no, this was a very strong iced latte, which in hindsight it was very strong. She was like, you need to try again. So then a few days later I tried just a normal latte and it was good. And ever since then, so I had that latte and it was good, and now I've become a coffee drinker. It's so good, and I'm kind of surprised at myself that I changed so quickly from someone who had never ever had a cup of coffee in their life to like, I like coffee now. It's really good. The second thing I've been getting into recently, these are all things I feel like everyone else in the world does, and I'm just a very weird, like I feel it's very weird that I don't drink coffee, but now I do. Another thing that's very weird that I never did before was I never listened to music while I ran. Obviously I run almost every single day. I've been running 5 or 6 days a week for like the past 10 years and I never ever listen to music. For most of the time I've been running, I just run listening to nothing for 2 main reasons. Number one, I don't like to carry anything while I'm running, and I'd have to like carry my phone while I'm running to play the music, a barrier which has now been overcome because I can put my music on my Garmin. And number two, I just have so many thoughts that are always going on in my head that it's really hard for me to run and listen to something at the same time, because I need to like use that time to think. In the past couple of years since I started college, I have started listening to podcasts sometimes when I run. But just literally a couple of days ago, and this was also kind of Noelle's idea, she thought that I should try listening to music while I run. So in the park run that we did on Saturday, I listened to music. I loaded a Spotify playlist onto my Garmin and I listened to music for the first time ever while running. And it was so good. It was, oh my gosh, I was going so fast. I was like, yes, yes, yes. I was like passing people. Oh, so now I'm a convert and I drink coffee and I listen to music while I run. What's the third thing on my list? There's only 5 things. Oh, my third thing, my haircut. The last time I had my haircut before this one was before I started college. It was before my freshman year. So I hadn't had my haircut in like 2 years and it was so long and gross. So I got a big chop off and I'm absolutely loving it. It feels so good. And last time I got my haircut, I got it cut pretty short. And I had a lot of moments where I was like, oh, I kind of wish it was longer. I kind of wish I hadn't cut it this short. But this time I got it cut almost as short, but I have loved it. I haven't had a single moment where I'm like, oh, I wish I had my longer hair back. I love this. It's great. The fourth thing I've been loving is, of course, some food. We had to have some food, make this list. Okay, 2 food items. Number one, 90% dark chocolate. I am obsessed with Lindt 90% dark chocolate. It is so, so, so good. And I've got so used to it now that the other day I had a square of 70% dark chocolate and it was so sweet. It made me feel sick. I've always definitely been a dark chocolate person, but now I'm just obsessed with like very, very dark chocolate. And if it's anything less than like 85%, I don't want it. And the second food item I've been getting into, and this is another thing Noelle's got me into, is cauliflower puffs. They are so good. They are expensive, but they are just amazing. The last thing I thought I would show you is the 2 books I have currently been reading. The first one I got a couple of days after I arrived in Melbourne and I've been reading it since I've been here, and it is Atomic Habits. You guys have probably seen this book. I saw it online somewhere. I think it got kind of famous on TikTok or Instagram or somewhere online, and it's basically about an easy and proven way to build good habits and break bad ones. I have been absolutely loving this book. It's got quite a lot of psychology in it, so that's definitely something that I'm interested in, so I enjoy that aspect of it. The way the book is written, it really feels like something you can actually put into practice, and I'm really looking forward to trying some of the tips in this book out in my own life. The other book I'm going to show you, I actually haven't started reading yet because I just got it yesterday. My mum and sisters and I went on a little day trip to Daylesford, which is a town that's like an hour and 15 minutes outside of Melbourne. We went into a little secondhand bookstore and I got this book. It is called The Girl on the Train. Again, you might have seen this. I definitely saw this somewhere on social media and I'd heard a couple of good things about it, and I saw it and it was only $9, so I decided to get it. Anyway, so that is my rather lengthy life update. If you feel like it, please give me a little life update on your lives in the comments. I hope you are all doing well as well. And I'm gonna get on with the weekly vlog now. Today is Monday, so as you saw this morning, I woke up, went for a little run, had breakfast, had lunch. I had a pretty small lunch because in about half an hour my daddy is gonna come and pick Noelle and I up and take us out for a little snack, and then we're gonna pick Poppy up from school, and then he's gonna drop us home and go back to work, and then we'll be here for a couple of hours, and then we're going to meet our mum in the city after her work, and we're going to the Loom and we're going to see the Van Gogh, I think it's called the Van Gogh Experience or something. I'm not going to try and explain it now. If you know what it is, you know, but if you don't, you will see it later today.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having an amazing day so far.
There's a place I have found in the shade on the ground, far from all worries and troubling sound. When I go,
oh, there she is glowing.
By myself, only me. No one can guess what I came there to see. There's a sun in the sky.
Update, so we got home and I've just been editing for about an hour, and now I'm just getting ready to go to the Loom. This is the fit. That is the previous fit. That was what I was wearing today. This is what I'm wearing now. This is actually a dress that I got. You can see it's kind of like nice up here. It's got like a nice top area. I'm just gonna wear it with this jumper kind of like this because it's not like the fanciest of fancy places that we're going. Also, this room that I'm currently in, this is actually not my room, although it has all my stuff in it right now. It's actually usually my dad's room, but very long story. I'm basically staying in this room when I'm in Melbourne because I don't really have a bedroom at this house or the other house really anymore apparently.
Be wrapped around your arms instead of being lonely. We could be gazing at the stars, but now it feels just like I wandered off into a room and closed the door behind me. I never gave the key to you, even though I wanted to. I should be trying something new, but now my body's aching. I'm tired of dwelling in the dark, it's just that my heart can't take it. I didn't know what it would cost me when I let you go. I feel alone, and I'm just singing, It should have been you. Another time, another place, I just know. It could have been you. What a crime and what a shame to let go. Sometimes I just don't know what to do. It should have been you.
Good morning everyone, happy Tuesday. I'm just having a very strange small breakfast right now. It's just a piece of sourdough toast with some cottage cheese on it, which I know cottage cheese is a bit controversial. I used to think the texture of it was disgusting, but now I kind of like it. Anyway, I've literally just rolled out of bed, so excuse my morning voice, but I'm just having a quick bite to eat because I want to go for a run as soon as possible, kind of probably in like an hour, once it's had time to digest, and I can't eat that much before I run, so I'm just gonna have this as a snack now, and I will have something else when I get back from my run. Hello, so it is a little bit later in the afternoon. I have had lunch, I've just been doing a little bit of work on my laptop for a couple of hours. I have now come to pick Poppy up from school, and I have to take her to the physio that she goes to after school on Tuesdays. While she's at physio, I'll do the grocery shopping, and then once that's finished, it goes for 40 minutes. So that's a good amount of time to get the grocery shopping done, and then I'll go pick her up from physio and take her home and probably cook dinner because I am a domestic queen.
There's a cloud drifting by. All kinds of birds make you wish you could fly. And in the distance I see someone waving at me. I hope that it's you, but who else could it be? I guess it would be nice to belong in your arms. I hope you feel the same way too. Na 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 na
Good morning everybody, happy Wednesday. I had a bit of an earlier start this morning. My dad picked me and Poppy up and we dropped Poppy at school. My dad and I this morning, we got breakfast and then we were just doing a few different errands, and now I am driving home and I have a few things to do while I'm at home for the next few hours, and then this afternoon I am taking Poppy to swimming, and while she's at swimming her lesson goes for an hour. I will either run or swim while she's doing that, I haven't decided yet. I also had 2 coffees this morning, which, like, going from someone who has never drunk coffee to like having 2 coffees in one day, I felt very like I don't know, I couldn't collect my thoughts. It's finally kind of wearing off a little bit now, but I was feeling very alert. I was feeling overly alert for a little bit this morning.
Do you think your viewers will find this very exciting?
Yeah, obviously.
Which part? The door going up?
Oh, the entire experience probably.
The lights coming on?
Oh wow, that's fancy. Oh, there he goes.
Running down the well with the trolley.
Ooh. So So Dad, Noelle and I, as you can see, have come to the storage unit to put a few boxes away because our apartment is very small, so we have to like store some stuff here. It's always a very exciting moment coming to the storage unit. This is what has come out of the storage unit so far. This suitcase, which is mine, and this other little mini suitcase, which I think might also have been mine many years ago.
I could never settle down too far away from my hometown. With my family I am bound. I stick by them till I'm in the ground. Ooh.
Good morning everyone, happy Thursday. I had a bit of a sleep in this morning, and then at 10:30 a.m. I had an interview for WLA board positions for next year. So if you're watching my college vlogs throughout the past year, I was on, WLA is a club at Yale called Women's Leadership Initiative, and I was in that club the past year and I applied for a board position for next year. There's a bunch of different committees on WLA and I applied to be like the director of one of the committees. So the plan for the rest of today is Poppy has physio this afternoon, so I have to go and pick her up from school and then take her to physio, wait there while she's at physio, and then bring her home. And then Noelle, Dad and I are going to watch a football game at the MCG tonight. So my team, the Melbourne Demons, are playing. It's a top of the table clash, I think, between Melbourne, who are currently on top of the ladder, and Brisbane. I think they're second on the ladder right now, so that should be very exciting. And also, just so you know, I have been supporting Melbourne since I was born. They have always been my team my whole life, and they were like very bad for the whole of my life until the past few years when they have suddenly come good, and they won the premiership last year, which was so exciting even though I was in the US. And also guys, I think I'm a bad luck charm. I think I'm a bad luck charm for Melbourne because they were undefeated the entire season, and then as soon as I arrive in Australia, they are now on a losing streak and they've lost like their past 3 or 4 matches. And I'm so scared that if I go to the game tonight then I'm gonna lose. But I think it's just me, my presence in Australia is meaning that they're losing. I've been to 2 of their games since I've been here. They've lost both of them, and then the other game that I was just also in Australia for, they also lost. So I think I'm a bad luck charm, but I'm going to go anyway because maybe I'm not. And also we're leaving to go to Perth in less than 2 days time, so I'm going to start just putting a few things in piles to take because I'm going to be there for maybe a little bit over 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks. Look at this forecast. It is sunny, and 23 degrees, 22 degrees, 21, 20. So as you can see, I'm now in the car. I am just sitting here waiting for Poppy to finish school, and then I'm going to take her to physio. Today has been a big kind of cleaning the house day. I started packing as you saw, and then the rest of the day Noelle and I have just been like cleaning our bedrooms and bathrooms and the kitchen and the house in general because my family is very complicated. Basically Noelle is coming back to Melbourne before Mum and Poppy and before me because we're all coming back at separate times. So Noelle is coming back to Melbourne with 2 of her friends first. So she and her friends are going to be staying in our apartment when they come. So we're going to have like one of her friends in my bedroom, one of her friends in Poppy's bedroom. So we need to like make sure the house is really nice, like the sheets are washed, everything is clean, etc. More so than we usually would because we're actually going to have other people staying there. Everyone, Brayshaw is my fave player. Noelle thinks she's in a vlog, but she's not.
Southern Cross Station.
I will not silently stand here and watch as you go. I want you to know.
And so we arrive on the morning of our flight to Perth, and it so happens that this morning was the busiest morning at Melbourne Domestic Airport since before the pandemic. There were people everywhere. I have never seen an airport this packed, and the airport was just so unprepared for the number of people, which I don't know how they were because obviously they knew that many people were booked to go on flights that morning. But anyway, there was just people everywhere, lines like, oh, I can't even tell you. There was just all these lines extending in different directions. You didn't know which line you needed to be in because usually you've got to line up to get your like check-in bag tags and everything. Then you've got to line up to actually check your bags in. So there was just all these lines, and my mum and my sisters and I were trying to like spread out across the lines to like make sure we had all the lines covered because we didn't know which one we needed to be in. It was absolute mayhem. We were waiting in these lines for hours, and then finally mum and I managed to get to the front of one of the lines where we could get our boarding passes and bag tags. So we got those, and then we went to meet Noelle and Poppy in this other the massive long line, which was like moving so slowly, which was supposedly where you were meant to wait to check your bags in. But then actually I found this other way shorter line that you could wait in. So then we all moved into that line. And then finally after hours, we get to the front of the line to check our bags in. And we had 3 bags between the 4 of us. So we check the first bag in, all good. It goes through. We're like, yes, finally this is happening. And then the entire system breaks down. Everyone's luggage checking in system thing just stops working. So the system is broken. And so then everyone's looking around like, oh my gosh, of course this happens right now. Anyway, so they get the system back up and running. I think I'm going to run out of footage to go with the voiceover of this story, so I'm just going to convert to me being here. Okay, so literally after all of that has happened, the luggage system has been reset. Mum and Poppy's bag has already like gone off to our flight. That's been checked in, so that now we try and check Noelle's bag in, and we go to put her bag on the scale and we like scan her boarding pass, and then the screen says that our flight has been closed. And we're like, oh my goodness. Now, we got to the airport in plenty of time because we knew it was going to be busy. We didn't realize it was going to be as busy as it was, but we knew it was going to be busy. So we still had like 45 minutes until our boarding time. So the flight should not be closed at that time. Like, it was a time that the flight should not be closed. So we were like, oh my gosh, what's happened? And so we had to go and get like a assistance person who came over, and she was like, that's really odd. Your flight shouldn't be closed. It's not boarding for another like however long. So she had to go back and check on her system. And then she comes back to us and she's like, hi, I'm really sorry. Your flight has just been cancelled. Our flight was cancelled after we had already checked in and we had already checked a bag in. Like, one of our bags had gone off to our flight. Never in our lives had we ever had a flight. Like, we've had flights cancelled before, but never has there been a flight that's cancelled like literally half an hour before you're meant to board, or 45 minutes or whatever, like after people have checked in. We were just like, and I have a feeling that the reason the whole luggage system momentarily broke down was because our flight just got cancelled, and that triggered something in the system. Because like 1 minute we were checking mum's bag in, it went off totally fine. Luggage system breaks, next minute it comes back on, and then our flight's cancelled. So I feel like that was linked somehow. Anyway, so it was very lucky actually that our flight got cancelled at the exact moment that we were checking in our bags, because that meant that we found out right away that our flight had been cancelled. So quickly we went off and got in the line at the ticket desk, and there was one person manning this ticket desk. One person. Anyway, we quickly got in that line, which there was quite a few people in front of us. We had to wait for ages in that line as well. But we managed to get in that line before most of the rest of the people in our flight, because the airline did not inform anyone on our flight that our flight had been cancelled until like 10 or 15 minutes later. So everyone else who was on our flight was still like in the lines behind us to check in their bags, and they didn't find out either until they got to the front of their line or until like 10 or 15 minutes later they got a text saying that their flight was cancelled. So then once that happened, we were still waiting in the line at the ticket desk. Then everyone from our flight, like the entire 300 or people or however many people on our flight, they all come over into this line that is waiting at the ticket desk. So this line is now like hundreds of people long, and there's one staff member at the ticket desk. So this line is moving so slowly. Anyway, so we were already in the line, and then as we're waiting in the line, we get the text that our flight has been cancelled and they have given us a new flight. And this is when everyone else from our flight realizes the flight has been cancelled and comes over into the line. And we're like, oh, okay, cool, we're on a new flight. When will this be? We look, we open up the message and they have put us on a new flight, not the same day, but the following day. So we were at the airport on Saturday morning, so they put us on a new flight on Sunday morning. Our original flight was going from Melbourne to Perth, which if you're flying from Melbourne to Perth, obviously you just go Melbourne to Perth. It's like a 4-hour flight. The flight that they put us on the following day went from Melbourne to Canberra to Brisbane, 5-hour layover in Brisbane, and then to Perth. So we were going to be on 3 flights. It was going to be like a 14 or 15-hour travel journey day to get from Melbourne to Perth. And we were like, absolutely not. We're not doing that. So we stayed in the line for the ticket desk so that we could change to a more suitable flight. There are obvious reasons why we didn't want to go on that flight the following day, but another one is also that we were worried that one of those flights would be cancelled. So we were worried that we would go from Melbourne to Canberra and then Canberra to Brisbane, and then the flight from Brisbane to Perth was going to be cancelled, and then we were going to be stuck in Brisbane, and we wanted a direct flight. So we waited in this ticket desk line for ages. Luckily, we didn't have to wait as long as the person who was like in their 300th spot in the line. They probably had to wait there like literally the entire day, and it was so ridiculous, and everyone around us was like so mad, and we were all like talking about it, and people like trying to see if they could fly on a different airline that day, but the prices were like $1,000 for a one-way ticket. It was crazy. And also, something else I didn't mention, which you probably saw in the footage before, is that because this was such a crazy time at the airport, there were all these news reporters there and like these camera crews, and they're like carting around these big like cameras and like microphones and all this stuff, and like literally getting in the way of people trying to, you know, maneuver their suitcases around. But yeah, there were like news reporters from all of the different channels there, and there was this lady right in front of me in the line for the ticket desk who was on our flight, which got cancelled, and she got interviewed. So the reporter was kind of like going along the line, like interviewing all these different people, and the lady who was standing like directly behind me was asked by that same reporter to be interviewed, and she was like, I'm sorry, I can't do an interview right now because I am so mad and I'm going to say something that I will regret later. So it was just a crazy experience. I have never seen anything like it. And so what ended up happening when we finally got to the front of that line was that we were put on a direct flight from Melbourne to Perth the following Wednesday. So 5 days later than we originally planned, we arrived in Perth. This messed up a few plans because we weren't going to be in Perth for very long, and so that really quite significantly cut into our time, but we tried to make the most of the weekend that we suddenly had in Melbourne. So we got home, dumped our suitcases there, and then we went out for breakfast, and we were all just so tired, and this ended up being a really fun day actually. It was so funny at breakfast. The waitress, we came in and she like took us to a table and she asked like, how are you traveling today? And we just all like looked at each other and started laughing, and then we had to explain to her like, oh, we wish we were traveling, but we're actually not.
It is pretty.
After breakfast, we decided to go to this certain park by the river, and we hired a little boat that we could sort of row along the river in, and that was really fun. It was such a beautiful day. And then we went for like a walk through the trails, and we went and saw a movie. So we ended up having a great weekend, but it was definitely not the weekend that we had planned to have.
Have we seen any wildlife bumps? You caught sight of that crocodile yet? Mom, you might see a platypus instead. Are there platypuses?
That would be cool.
There are platypuses somewhere.
car when we were young, running from all things at once, without thinking twice. And I knew it would catch up, and that we would be the ones left behind. The stories I've been told, they never seem to leave my mind. And this road that I am on.
Currently doing last minute tidying and packing, so I'm just about to vacuum the room here, and I've been cleaning. I cleaned the bathroom earlier today, but I'm just going to be vacuuming the floor.
Here for some time. Time is gone and I grew up. I somehow made it through without losing sight.
In regards to this vlog, I decided to not really film the next few days in Melbourne because my idea for this vlog was to have some time in Melbourne and some time in Perth. And so what I've actually decided to do for the rest of the video is just put in all of my time in Perth into the end of the video. So I ended up having about 3 weeks in Perth, which was a really great time. So the rest of this video is going to be my time in Perth. Good morning. I'm currently establishing that this is a terrible car to like film in. So I'm just going to hold the camera, and we've got some fabulous side lighting going on. But good morning everybody and welcome to Perth. Sorry I didn't vlog too much yesterday. It was like a very early morning. We had to wake up at 4:30 a.m. Melbourne time, which is 2:30 a.m. Perth time. Then we got to the airport, got on our flight. That was all very smooth. Thank goodness. I think no one else really wanted to be at the airport at that time. So we got to Perth. Second attempt worked out, and then we got home, and basically I spent most of the day just unpacking, and I was going through a couple of the boxes that I have of like my stuff that is being stored in my mum's garage. I'm trying to like get that down to like less boxes because I have quite a lot of stuff that I really need to get rid of. But I'm a very sentimental person, so I find it really difficult to get rid of things that have sentimental value, which is something that I attach to almost everything I own. And then after she finished work, Mum and I went for a run, and then we went out for a little bite to eat. And then we came home and watched MasterChef and went to bed. So that was yesterday. You can probably guess what I'm doing right now. I'm currently at Perry Lakes / Bold Park, and I'm going for a run. I woke up this morning around 8 because I had a little bit of a sleep in, and I feel like this is a very this is my Perth routine, is to wake up, drive to Bold Park and go for a run. It was in so many of my vlogs when I was kind of in my interim period between graduating high school and going to college in 2020. So I'm just gonna go for a little run, and then I need to go and find some wrapping paper and a card from somewhere because we're going to my grandparents' house for dinner tonight, and I got them a little present from Yale. So I want to wrap that and write them a nice card. I finished my run. It was pretty good. It was very hilly. I realised that I really do not run on hills ever in Melbourne because nearby where we live is pretty flat, and I don't really have access to a car in Melbourne, whereas in Perth I do have access to a car some of the time, so I kind of drive. And I'm also more familiar with like good places to run in Perth, so I always like go to the hilly places because they're kind of nice to run.
I love the things you said to me, it seems like.
I've just been to get the card and wrapping paper, so here they are. And look how cute this wrapping paper is, and it was $1. Look how cute this wrapping paper is, and it's double-sided as well. On the other side it has these little plants, so that is great. Got those for $3 total, and I also got this little coffee. Look how cute this cup is. Oh my gosh, I've never had a coffee in Perth before, so pretty good.
You like me too. We can take it slow, make sure we do this right. talking to the night until the morning, building chemistry. I don't think I ever wanna go, come closer next to me. Trying to find another way to say this, but I think we were meant to be. Anxious. I think I'm all stuck on you. All of the things you did for me, it seems like
It's not a very good coffee. I am not going there again. And also they didn't take reusable cups.
to rush, so let's just take our time. Dropping everything, cause you're stuck on my mind. My mind. So just sit with me, talking to the night until the morning, building chemistry. I don't think I ever wanna go, come closer next to me. Trying to find another way to say this, but I think we were meant to be. Oh, we were meant to be. Oh, we were meant to be. Oh, we were meant to be. So just sit with me, talking to the night until the morning, building chemistry. I don't think I ever wanna go, come closer next to me. Trying to find another way to say this, but I think you were meant to be.
Good morning. I thought I might do a little bit of filming today just because I'm feeling in the mood. It's currently around lunchtime actually. I just this morning went to a little coffee place and had coffee with my cousin Emma. Most of my dad's side of the family lives in Perth, so I'd already seen her once at a family gathering last week, but we just caught up again one-on-one for a little coffee, which was really nice. And the coffee place we went to is quite close to the beach, so afterwards I was kind of buzzing because I had like a large... If you guys have been following my coffee journey, you'll know I've only very recently become a coffee drinker. My coffee order is an oat milk latte, and normally I just get a small one. Sometimes I get a large one, but normally it's just a small. And so when this morning I had a large latte, I was kind of like buzzing, and I also hadn't had anything to eat this morning because I just wasn't very hungry and I woke up a little bit late. And so I'd had no food and like a couple of shots of coffee, and I was just like had a lot of like energy, shall we say. The coffee shop that we went to is just a couple of streets away from the beach, so afterwards I was just walking back to my car, and then I just kind of kept going and walked to the beach and walked along there. And it is honestly such a beautiful day. Like, I can't believe it's the middle of July, the middle of winter here in Perth, and it's 22 degrees, blue skies, sunny, people in bikinis at the beach. Like, this is the kind of winter that I love. I thought I might do a little grocery haul because why not? So because I wasn't planning on going to the shops, I had to get one of the paper bags instead of bringing my reusable bags. I got 2 avocados because avocados are $1 each at the moment. $1. Very cheap avocados for some reason, which we love. I got some tomato pasta sauce, capsicum, Greek yogurt, an absolute essential in my life, some corn chips, and Lindt 90% dark chocolate. I'm a little bit obsessed with this right now. Lindt chocolate for some reason has been on sale at like Coles, Woolies, IGA, everywhere for a while now. That's why I've been eating it, and now I'm a little bit obsessed with the 90% because it is so good. And that is my haul. Something I have been loving making for lunch recently is kind of like taco bowls, nacho bowls. I don't really know. I call them taco bowls, but I guess it's technically not really tacos. Anyway, I'm gonna show you how I make them. It's very easy, which is why I like to make it, and I also just love the taste of it. So basically, you just put in some lettuce, put it into a big bowl. I like to have quite a lot of lettuce, but you can have however much you want. Obviously, it is your taco bowl. Then you can really just put in whatever salad items you want. I normally just cut up some cucumber and capsicum, and sometimes put in some tomatoes as well, and also corn is really good. But today I'm just gonna do cucumber, capsicum, and tomato. I just cut it into like little pieces, and then I put that in there. Little cherry tomatoes as well, just because, oh no. I find them easier to cut up than big tomatoes, because you can just like, they're less messy. Big tomatoes are very like goopy. This is what it's looking like now, basically just the base of the salad. Putting corn in here as well really takes it to the next level, but I don't think we have any corn in the house, so we're leaving that out. And so now the next step is basically to make it into like a Mexican thing. I put in some salsa. So this is basically like making nachos, but like a nacho salad. And then what I do is I make this and we dip corn chips into it, so kind of like nachos, but instead of like putting the stuff on top of the corn chips. I don't know, have I made this up? Or is this a thing? Like, does it have a name? I don't know. I just call it taco bowls. So, Tia's taco bowls. Anyway, so we put in some salsa, some Greek yogurt. You can put in sour cream. Really, this is like a substitute for sour cream. I just put in Greek yogurt because I always have Greek yogurt in the house and we don't usually have sour cream in the house, so Greek yogurt is just always there. And it kind of tastes the same, I think, anyway. So salsa, Greek yogurt, avocado, and cheese. That is what I put in next, and then I like mix it all around. Obviously, if you don't like one of these things, you don't have to put it in, but I think you kind of need, I mean, it changes the taste quite a lot if you don't. So I put in like some big dollops of sour cream or Greek yogurt. Then also quite a bit of salsa. And then we get our dollar avocado, cut that out and put some in there. And then we get a little bit of grated cheese and put that in as well. And then once you've mixed it all up, it does not look very appetizing, okay, but it's really good. This is sort of what it looks like, and then basically what I do is I get a bowl of corn chips and I just dip it in and like eat it, and then sometimes you can also just have it with a fork if you don't want the corn chips. Or also the other thing that I often do is if I have like any mince cooked up. So I've kind of been eating mostly like pescatarian lately. Like I haven't really been having meat apart from fish because I love fish. It's so good and it's really protein as well. Anyway, so when I make like bolognese or taco things, like anything that I would usually use minced meat for, I've been using this textured vegetable protein. We've been doing this for a while now. Basically, just like follow the instructions on the packet and it turns out pretty much the same as, it like behaves in the same way as minced meat would, but it's just a vegetarian protein instead of a meat-based protein. So anyway, if I have some of that cooked up in the fridge, I will like add some taco seasoning and salsa to that and kind of like heat it up, and I'll put it on top of this, and that makes it a bit more of a substantial meal with a little bit more protein. So if I have that or if I cook it up, I will put that in here and just mix it around as well. I really like doing that, especially if I'm making this for dinner, but right now I cannot be bothered to do that, so I'll just have this and then I'll dip some corn chips into it, and that is how you make Tia's taco bowls. So this is basically the situation. We have our little taco bowl creation here. Not very aesthetic, but you can make it aesthetic if you want. If you like don't mix all the stuff together and you just put it in little sections, then you can make it aesthetic, but that is not practical. And then we have corn chips. So basically I just get like a corn chip and then I like dip it. It's hard to do with one hand, but like I dip it and I get stuff on it and then I eat it. I'm just gonna demonstrate for you in case that did not make sense. I meant to say it's hard to do with my left hand, not with one hand. Oh no, the corn chip broke. Oh, why? Okay, that's what I'm talking about. You get that. Okay, that's quite a lot. And then I will eat this off camera because I'm not about to shove this into my mouth on camera. But yeah, that's basically how I do it. And then it's quite a lot of like salady stuff, I guess. So I do eat some of it with a fork, but you do you. Anyway, I just really like the flavors of like nachos and tacos, so this is kind of an easy way to do it. And there's obviously a lot of different variations and different ways you can eat this, but it has definitely been one of my like staple lunches recently. So I just thought I would share it in case any of you guys want to try it out. Guys, the weather is making me so happy. The weather being this good after having not been in summer in a very long time and having spent many long freezing cold winters, not many, 2. I have spent 2 freezing winters in the US. It has been a great experience to have experienced a couple of winters living in a place where it snows a lot and is very, very cold. But it has shown me that I don't want to live in a place like that long term. And some people, like, it's very good to experience living in different places with different climates and different cultures and everything. Obviously the culture in the US, or at least the northeast of the US, is not very different to Australia, so I'm not really experiencing living in a totally different culture, but I am experiencing living in a totally different climate. And I think it's great to have all of those experiences because it does help you figure out what you want. And I have some friends who have moved to New Haven from very warm places that do not get very cold over winter, and they've moved to New Haven and they've absolutely loved the winters there, and they're like, oh my gosh, I want to live in a place where it snows every year. So some people have figured that out. I have kind of figured the opposite thing out, where it just doesn't really suit me, both internally, like, I don't know, my body just doesn't love that. It kind of, you know, it gets seasonal depression. And it also doesn't suit me externally. The lifestyle that I like to lead is fairly outdoorsy, and so I don't love not being able to really do that as much in the winter. If you're living in a place where it snows and is very cold, you can't be engaged in outdoor activities like walking and running and just all the outdoor activities in the same capacity as you would be able to be engaged in them if you were living in somewhere like Perth or anywhere in Australia really. But anyway, this is pretty great. I'm just gonna try and enjoy the sun today because it's going to be bucketing down tomorrow, and I'm sad about it because I've been enjoying the nice weather. Okay, this is my new favorite fit that I want to show you. Have I shown you this before? I don't know, maybe I have. Anyway, this top and these flowy white pants that you can't really see unless I go far back. But yes, I really like it. It is very summery. Do you want to see my view right now? I think you do. Oh my gosh, kind of ideal. So I've come to the beach for a little afternoon walk and just to watch the sunset, which I've been doing quite a lot since I've been in Perth. And I was just thinking as I was driving here how I've seen a lot on social media recently of people taking themselves on solo dates and talking about how it's good and okay to go and do things that you would usually do with other people, like going and having a picnic or going to a coffee shop and getting a coffee or whatever it may be. To do those things by yourself. You don't have to do them with other people, and it can actually be really nice to do things like that by yourself. And so people are like taking themselves on these solo dates where they do that, and it just makes me smile whenever I see that on social media because I think it's a great idea. But equally, I have been doing that for like my entire life. Like I've not called them solo dates, but I just always do things by myself, and I really enjoy doing things with other people. I enjoy doing things with my friends, but I equally enjoy just doing things by myself. And I've never felt weird or awkward about that. Like I've never thought of it as like a weird or novel kind of thing to do. But if there's something that I want to do, like for example I wanted to come and watch the sunset tonight, then I'll just go and do it by myself. Like I have no problems with that, and I don't even give it a second thought. I just go and do it. Whereas I do think some people wouldn't go and do, not necessarily like that specifically, but wouldn't go and do certain things if they don't have someone to do them with. But I've definitely always been the type of person who will just go and do them by myself if I don't have anyone to do them with. Or sometimes I want to do them by myself, I actually don't want to do them with anyone else. Anyway, if you don't go on solo dates very often, or you haven't been on a solo date in a while, then this is your sign to maybe some stage this week just find even just an hour to go and sit at a coffee shop and get a coffee by yourself, or do something that you'd like to do just by yourself and enjoy your own company.